Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu ala nabil ummi. So just a few days ago I was going for Taraweeh, and the desire to get there on time and be early and be in the earlier safs. I'm using the word desire very purposefully, because if I'm running, I felt like I was running late anyways. So the hadith is clear that if once you leave your home, you'll get your rewards. So, by the way, I lost my voice a few days ago, so I'm just recovering, so please bear with me. So the hadith is clear, you're going to get your rewards. So there's no need to rush after that. But I was rushing, and I get to the masjid, and now I start walking to the more further front rows, and as I get to one point, there's two brothers sitting there, they're two friends, they're talking, and then there's a bit of space, and then there's empty spot in front of them. So now I'm craving, like, I gotta get to the front spot. So I'm trying to make a map around them. Okay, so I'll go around this way, but there's a brother praying salat. So I'm like, okay, I'll time it. Once the guy goes for sujood and I know there's a little bit of space, I'll step between so I'm not bothering anybody. And as soon as the person goes for sujood, I try to step through. I didn't know that darn guy was going to do like a millisecond sujood. He went like, poof, and he's already out. And I'm stuck in this awkward situation where I just jumped through and I went to that space. So now I'm just feeling so bad morally and socially that I'm like, what am I doing? What was the point of all this gymnastics and monkey business? So I just sat and I reflected, like, what is wrong with me? My journey to the masjid wasn't according to the sunnah. I was rushing the whole time, driving recklessly a bit. I got into the masjid and I'm still acting like this. So I made a conclusion, I'm a complete donkey. Because once a person knows the hadith, he should be able to calm down. He should be able to pace himself and be dignified. And the other hadiths that mention being dignified is part of the sunnah of the Prophet and part of Nubuwwat. So I made this harsh conclusion that I'm a donkey. And because a donkey is like someone that can be disciplined. And I've been around Islamic knowledge for the last 15, 10, 20 years maybe. So I'm like, oh man, I didn't know I was a complete donkey despite of like dressing Islamically and acting all religious. But it just felt so empty, and that's when I realized that when Allah's grace is not with us, Allah's blessings are not with us, we fall from grace instantly. So all that persona, all that facade that we put on, that's only possible because of a divine battery that's keeping us going. But the moment the grace, the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cease, a person becomes bare bone himself. He's back to his animal self. And that's how I felt. I felt like I was just rushing like an animal, and then I felt like, oh man, what is wrong with me? And I felt guilty so much. After Isha, I apologized to the brothers behind me because the way I jumped to the front, and I said salam to them, but I felt embarrassed afterwards, like, what is wrong with me? So it was a really harsh realization, but it's a good realization that we're not special or chosen in any way. The only time we are special is when we are under the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's where la hawla wa la quwwata comes from. That there is no power to do good and there's no strength to stay away from evil except with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's willing. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to understand, and may Allah keep us in His divine grace, tawfiq and mercy and forgiveness and protection.